I really probably should be finishing the monthlies, and I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do it. But I've been seeing this post about this young lady, and I even shared it on my page, the one with the Legba killed her, or allegedly killed her, and I'm like, man. And then I'm reading some comments just from different sources where people are kind of chiming in and on different pages, and I get that people are like, the voodoo killed her. And as a Mambo, that bothers me. And it's not just this instance. It's a lot of things that are like falsified um, about voodoo. It's a beautiful religion. The Loa are not the mafia. They don't go around just killing people. That's not what they do. You don't just summon the Loa. They come when they want to come. You petition, you go to your altar, you do service, and if they want to work with you, they come. If they don't want to work with you, they don't come. But I think the whole thing about the misconception of what voodoo is, um, it's just really so disrespectful. And it reminds me of like before I became a priestess, I was baptized in Catholicism. And you used to have all these people that would make comments about Catholics and what they do in the Catholic religion, and they weren't Catholic. So how do you know? How do you understand the religion? How do you understand the tradition if you don't really practice it? If you don't really participate in it? There's one thing about reading things. I have Buddhas all over my house, and I love the energy that they give, but I'm not a Buddhist. So I don't chime in on what I think Buddhism is or how it should be done or what the Buddhists can do. I don't think they're going to come in and kill me. But if I had that thought, maybe I would research before I started working with them or before I brought them in my house. I think a lot of people are looking for connections, and they're looking for connections with power. So we have a lot of people that post online, and it's because I want to show you my ritual. I want to show you my witchy stuff. I want to show you what I do, which is cool. I'm all for expressing yourself. But I think too that when somebody posts a ritual or a working, and we automatically just follow it and think that it's supposed to work or it is gonna work. There's a lot of falsified information out there. With the Loa, it kind of hurts me because they're my family. Where it's like, okay, Papa Legba didn't kill anybody, but we got a whole bunch of people saying that he did. There was packs, there were blood packs. Here's the thing, and I wrote this in a post for somebody else. You can go to Legba right now. Right now. Every Monday is my ancestor day, and I talk to Legba. You can go to him right now and say, I want you to help me connect to my ancestors, to my ancestry. I want you to open that door for me, because he is the gate opener between this world and the other world. He has foots in both worlds, so he can open that gate and connect you with loved ones, with spirits that come through. Now, the thing about it is, he doesn't require that you make pacts with him. You don't have to give him blood. You don't have to sit up there and do 3 flips and chant and do a belly rub for him to come in and help you. If he wants to help you, if he wants to open that door, he will. But if you don't do what he says, or people are saying Legba comes in and says he demands this, he demands that. The spirits ask for service. They do. And if they want to work with you, it's reciprocated. You offer them food, you offer them candles, and they do certain things for you. Voodoo is about service. It's about service, but it's not like, what can you do for me? And if you don't do it, then oh, you're gonna kill me. It's not like that, you guys. Working with spirit is a relationship. It's a connection. When I go to my spirits and I say, like what was it a few months ago? I told Ogu, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna get on this bike, and and I didn't follow through. He didn't kill me. I'm still here. Now, he may thump me on the head every now and then. He may make my snacks disappear, or he may make my sister come over here and make me work out, but that's because he knows that that's important to me. He knows that that's what I need, and because I offer him service, he says, you know what, I'm going to make sure that you do what you need to do. But he's not going to strike me dead because I told him I was going to ride my bike 5 days a week for 30 minutes, and I decided not to. No. No, that's not the way it works. So I think when people brand a tradition or a religion as evil, and it's really because of a lack of knowledge, because you haven't connected with these spirits. You haven't. It's so disrespectful. That would be like me going into somebody else's religion or spirituality and saying, this is what Bast does to her people. This is what Lilith does. I don't work with these energies, these spirits. So I know enough to be respectful and research and go properly towards them. And if I don't understand what I'm doing, I know enough to seek out a mentor or somebody who knows, who has these connections. But I think anytime you go into practice or religion with a fear of the outcome, you're not ready. You're not ready. If you have a fear that working with certain spirits are going to harm you or kill you, then you know that you can't go into it all willy-nilly. We have to have a structure. We have to have, sacred space. We have to have places that have our protections up. We can't just, I decide I want to work with Kung Fu today, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I ain't got shit else to do, but I don't know who he is, what he requires for service, what exactly he does, what the outcome could be if it goes wrong. I think there's certain things that people, when they start a practice or go into a practice, people want to go from A to Z in like 30 minutes. And it's not really like that. This is a lifetime of study. For a lot of people that go into traditions and things like this is not likely. This is not, I just woke up and I wanted to be a Mambo. It doesn't quite work like that. You're called to it. And then you realize that when you call to it, that your studying begins. You have to understand your spirits. You need to learn how to connect with them, how to work with them. And that's important. If you're going into it ego-based because you just want to blast pictures all over Facebook, this is what I do. The spirits favor me. You want to be on there shaking your thing. I'm High Priestess Mambo. Follow me because aesthetically I look like it, right? But it's not about aesthetics with spirit. It's not about aesthetics. They don't care about all this. They care about the service, the connection, the work. It's a relationship. So when you go into somebody's practice and you say that this spirit killed this person and that practice or that religion is bad, you're demonizing it. You're putting something on it. And a lot of people love to do that with voodoo. And that's that old Hollywood bullshit. The voodoo priestess is going to come kill you. I'm not going to say that there aren't dark moments that you can't do certain things. But let's be honest. There's a lot of healing. Voodoo is a connection with earth, with plants, with herbs, with spirit. There's a lot of things that can be done for healing. If you're contacting the Loa or Orishas because you want power and you want ego, then maybe you're calling in some negative aspects of that. You might be deciding that's what you want to work, and the spirit might be willing to give that to you. But let's be honest, it doesn't start like that, you guys. It really doesn't. The connection is really supposed to be genuine, where you're saying like the Loa are my family. I get very protective when I see bullshit where people are writing things about them because that's not my relationship with my spirits. And I know for a lot of people that's not their relationship with their spirits. So it kind of, I feel like people tend to be very disrespectful, and it comes a lot of times from people who don't have anything to do with the tradition or the religion. They haven't made any sacrifices. They don't do service. They don't even keep their altars up. They may not even understand what the religion is. But you want to come in and you want to speak for this spirit, or you want to speak as a whole for this religion. But what have you done? What have you contributed to it to be able to say this? It just really irks me. Makes me feel some kind of way. That people, and I don't feel like I'm even defending the Loa. They're strong enough. I don't feel like I have to defend. But I think a lot of this old, this is what voodoo does, Hollywood bullshit, where people want to think the negative of it. They want to see the darkness in it, but they don't want to see the beauty in it. Voodoo helps a lot of people. uplifts a lot of people. A lot of you follow me. I'm a Mambo. I'm not sitting around here cursing you. I'm sitting over here uplifting you. That's what voodoo does. I am voodoo. You have to be very cautious about what you allow in your mind when it comes to other people's opinions or things like that. Don't be lazy. Research. Don't go off of what you see. And so many Mambos and Ugans have been online talking about this. Don't go off of what you see on Google. Don't go off of what you get off of YouTube. There's some credible people out there, but trust me, voodoo, you're not going to see real voodoo online. You won't. You won't. It's a religion. It's a tradition. It's passed down. There are things that we know that we're not putting out there. We will not put out there. And so I think that's why people are trying to fill in spaces. You know, well, Papa Legba. So I'm going to add, a doll, and I'm going to add, this particular candle with a Legba, something that looks like a Legba drawn on it. But they don't even know who Legba is. They have no idea. They haven't researched. Or they get limited information and they decide, well, I'm going to go ahead and make, this big altar or do this big ritual. And then I'm going to post this because I want people to know how powerful I am and how connected I am. You don't have to boast a relationship with spirit. You really don't. You really don't. You don't see my altars to my Lawaz all over the place. They're not in my pictures or whatever and things like that. Every now and then, if somebody says, if one of them goes, okay, you can post it, or maybe there's a connection that I need to heal this person and show that, then you may. But other than that, it's a sacred relationship. And it's something that I've cultivated and I've put time into and I've sacrificed for. So when I come on and I say that the spirit is this way, it's because that's the perception. That's the relationship that I have with them because I've cultivated that relationship. I wouldn't go on any other person's page or make a post about connecting with a spirit I know nothing about. Or either talking down on a spirit that I know nothing about, that I haven't really put the time and energy into it. Of course, you don't have to be initiated to serve the Lawa. But to me, if you're going to go ahead and write about them and post about them and post your rituals and things about them, you need to have some type of common knowledge and respect for them, for the religion, for the tradition. That's important. That's important to them. It's very disrespectful when you come into something and you don't put the time or the energy into it to get it right. It's very disrespectful when you're putting things out there for show because you want to be seen as the supreme witch or the supreme Mambo or whatever that is. That's ego driven because you don't really have to put all that out there. You don't. If you have a connection with spirit and it's strong, that's your blessing. Nobody else needs to see it. It's almost like somebody being, they're oversharing on the relationship. My man, this, my man, that, my woman, this, my woman, that. And then you have people that are trying to tear that relationship apart. And it could be because you overshare, because maybe that was supposed to be between you and your spirit or you and that person. So I will say, if you are interested in the voodoo, seek out mentors. Seek out people that actually practice, that practice. Don't go off what you read in groups and things like that. There's so much, Mama Star would call it mixing and moxing. Just throwing everything in the pot and then, pulling out whatever comes up and then, lighting a candle and saying, this is my ritual. No, it goes a little bit deeper than that. It goes a lot deeper than that. And I think what happened was unfortunate to the young lady. I don't feel, I know for sure it had nothing to do with Legba or any Lawa. But I get so many people are looking for answers. But I think before we start labeling what we think this is, you have to kind of take a step back and look at it as a whole. There could have been a cry for attention. There may have been some other things that were going on. This person felt like they wanted power because they posted it and they were trying to gain some type of attention through their posts. And it's unfortunate that the outcome is what happened. A lot of times when you summon things, you're not sure what's coming through. If you're not proficient in evoking things, you don't know what's coming in because you're opening up a big portal. and you're putting a message out there. Now, you could be calling for one spirit, but that doesn't mean that 50 other spirits don't hear that. So they will come through. So then we get people that are doing this, but they have no concept of protection, barriers. Then proper evocation. Like what do we do? Invocation. What do we do? How do we do that? What do we say? And then when that connection is done and you're finished with it, how do we send away? How do we close that portal? How do we close that connection? If we can and say we have a problem, how do we banish? How do we end it? There's so many things that you need to learn before you get to Z. You can't start with A and then fast track, because there's a lot of knowledge that needs to be studied, researched before you get to the end game. And to me, I wouldn't fuck with it until all that was done. And that is with any spirit. Whether it's a Loa, a deity, Orisha, whatever it is. You have to understand the proper way to deal with spirits. You can't just come in and say, you know what, people are treating like the Loa, like, God, like, oh my God, my money's bad. I need you to come through, come make my money right. You know how when we only go to God or Jesus when we're in a hard time? You cannot, and I say this over and over again, you cannot have one-sided relationships with spirit. You can't. They're smart. They're smart. They know when you're trying to fuck them. They know when you're playing games. Now, a lot of them will not come back in and kill you. They won't. The Loa, they'll thump you in the head a couple of times. They'll be like, get right. Come on, get right. I've had it happen to me. Get right, Mambo. Get right. And I'm like, okay, all right. Even with Ogu, when Ogu hiding my snacks, I'm like, oh my God, okay. I remember I told you I was going to lose some weight. I know. But he thumped me. He's like, you remember that. You remember what you told me. And because he loves me, he's helping me. He's not trying to kill me. He's trying to help me grow and expand. So you have to understand these connections with spirit are supposed to be nurturing for a lot of people. If that's who you choose to work with, there's a relationship, an actual relationship that develops. This is not, oh, I need to find a man, I want to work with you today, and then I won't ever contact you again, or I have never researched you or offered you service, but now I expect you to bring me everything I prayed for and I dreamed for. No, it don't work like that. Reciprocate it. If you think you're getting over a spirit by asking for something, you're going to get asked for something back in return. You will. Now, I think a lot of people, when it comes to voodoo, are curious about it. And like I said, if you want to learn properly. Get with mentors, get with Ugans, Mambos, people who practice, people who really put energy into that. There are people who, this is who we are. It's not something that we put on or we wear and we take off. This is it. I'm a Mambo 24/7. 24/7, this is who I am. My commitment to spirit is lifetime. Lifetime. It will not end. And I love my spirits. I love the Loa. I love the voodoo. So I think if you really are going to be committed to something, take the time, learn, research, expand knowledge. Don't go off of what you're seeing and reading and everything like that. Don't be afraid of the voodoo. Don't be afraid of connecting with the spirits if they come to you and they call you. There's a reason there's a connection there. I don't want people to come out of this and read this post like, oh my God, I'm never going to do the voodoo. I'm never going to work with these spirits. I'm never going to call on Legba. Legba didn't do anything. Legba didn't do anything. He can open up amazing doors for you. He really can. If you're respectful and if you research and you understand how to work with him, he can open up amazing doors. All the spirits can. But don't let this fear mongering where people are like, oh, don't do it. This is going to happen. Spirit is killing you. The Loa walking around here killing everybody. They are not the mafia. We're not making deals over here. We're not exchanging things, money and all this stuff like that. And if you don't do it, you're going to get got. We're not doing that. We really aren't. So please be careful with where you get your information. Be careful with who you connect to. And if you want to learn, if you really truly want to learn about the voodoo and how amazing it is and what a beautiful religion it is, then reach out. Reach out. Learn the proper way. Learn the proper way. I think some of you are going to be amazed with the beauty of it, what it can do, and how it can change your life. But in a way that is not this Hollywood or this fear or this, oh my God, the voodoo, I hate when people say, oh, they piss me off, I want to voodoo them. What the fuck? What the fuck? No, that's not what we do. That is not what we do. I know I'm venting, and it's just that I love my spirits, love them, and I don't like to see them get a bad rap or a bad rep with this situation and what people think, because it's so much more than the negative. And I know some people, that's what they want, and if you look for it, I'm sure you can find it, but that's not what it really is about. So be open-minded, but research, you guys. Don't go off of everything that you see and you hear, you read. Sometimes we have to, with spiritual journeys, we have to dig deeper. We have to explore more, and we have to be connected. If we're not connected to it, then it's not us. It's not our journey. It's not our door. Don't try to force things. And stop throwing everything into a pot and expecting that it's going to come out glorious. There's certain things that don't mix. It's like a recipe. It's certain things you just can't put in there to get the outcome that you need. But for that, you have to learn. You have to expand. So, you guys, please be careful with your practices. I love you. I don't want to see anything happen to you. But, I want you to be progressive. I want you to grow. And I want you to have these deep connections with spirit, because they are beautiful. They really are. And that's what I wish for you. So you guys have a beautiful day. I love you much. Oh, and the monthlies are coming. Getting ready to get on them. Aries, Capricorn, Pisces. Coming soon.